everybody? Josh the RV with Bish's RV. Josh the RV. Yeah. Hey everybody, Josh the RV nerd with Bish's RV over here. Actually, I'm hanging out with my brothers and sisters out in Omaha today. My Midwestern brothers and sisters, as it were. Taking a look, I've never had my hands on this tracer model before. 31BRDLE, something like that. There's a B and a D in there, and it's got the move bunk, get out the way, full private bunk room with bunk room slide. The version we're looking at today is actually optioned with the second air conditioner on it as well. So, you know, if it's going to be a hot day, you can be like, kids, go to your room. You can have some rainy day sanity space in there, especially since that bunk room, which is a true quad bunk, by the way. It's a true 4 individual bunk room with a really nice, like, dresser closet kind of storage cabinet back there. You tell the kids to go back there while you hang out in the living room and everybody gets a little bit of their own space. Now, this thing has some really smart features, but it's got a couple pitfalls, and I'm going to go through this and try to share the ups and the downs with you so you can be really well educated when you go out there shopping. For instance, for the size of this thing, if you look at the length, if you consider the fact it has 2 slides, it is crazy stupid lightweight, coming in under 7,000 pounds. Here's the thing though, if you just check the brochure weights on this, it's going to tell you it has between 12 to 1,300 pounds of cargo capacity. Depending on what options you put on this, you could knock that down very easily, under 1,000 pounds of available cargo capacity before battery, before propane, before anything else goes in this. So what my message to you is, be really conscious, be really aware of the specific capacities and allowances on the specific copy that you're looking at on this, because it might be a situation like if you're just going to leave it parked somewhere, that really doesn't matter. But if you're going to go towing and going all over the place and you overload this thing, which can happen easily if you're not careful, that's going to be a problem. You're going to bow your axles, you're going to scrub your tires funny, and then you're going to have a bad day instead of a fun day making memories. And if you appreciate how we go out of our way to make sure you know the good and the bad, hit that subscribe button, and let's see what else she has both ways. And one of the first things I want to begin with is just acknowledging that this is not a earth-shatteringly new and or original floor plan. Tracer doesn't tend to do a lot of that. They don't try to get cute. They don't try to get boutique. They just stay in the pocket. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the extra striping outside. I don't know if it's a couple little touch-ups they've made on some decor elements. It's hitting me better now than it has now. I'm not trying to oversell this. This is still a very budget sensitive, lighter weight trailer. It is not made to be the biggest, baddest, be all, end all, but they do some surprising things, like wait till we check out this hide bed. This is actually really interesting. It's basically a trifold hide bed, but you don't have to physically fold stuff. You literally just pull it straight out to make it trifold. And that's cool. There's cool content like that in this. But there's also things like they don't do a lot of slide end windows. You still see symptoms of where they are still being very budget conscious. Now, immediately, someone saying the entertainment center is awful. How is it 2024 and manufacturers are still building entertainment centers like this? The answer is basically because this is one of the shortest ways to build this floor plan. When you have 2 slides and a private bunk room, it's hard to make everything smaller. And that is a way that they can do it without adding a ton of extra length to the RV. Now, someone's going to say, yeah, but that sucks. Total respect. If you're looking for TV stuff, don't buy this camper. Fair. Also, I like the little simulated Euro design on the cabinetry, but if a manufacturer is going to do this, I feel like they need to be absolutely on point executing it, because otherwise it becomes a very easy, obvious eyesore. And I hope you appreciate the fact that I'm willing to point out the good with the bad as we go through this video, because I'm a person that spends money no differently than you. I don't know how much money you think I make, but chances are it's not the amount of money you think I make. You know, I'm still careful with my money. And when I see janky fit and finish, my brain immediately says, what else didn't they do that I can't see? Like, so that's where my mindset goes. So if you feel the same way, I understand. You know, I'm not trying to convince you otherwise. I'm just trying to lay the information down and let you make the decision. Now, up top, you've got a 15,000 BTU centralized air, We are in an RV that's 50 amp, and you'll see a second air conditioner installed in the rear bunk room. One of the nicer things, especially with kids and or pets or clumsy, dropsy husbands like me. No floor vents and no carpet in the slide. That looks like carpet on camera. It's a marine woven slide floor, like a pontoon. In a way, visually, I kind of like how they dressed up the slide fascia because it looks just like the sidewall. And I think it just, especially when you're not staring sideways at it like I am right now, when you're facing straight onto it, it kind of looks and feels nice. Now, I can't see the sticker from here. I'll try to remember to check this later. But a lot of times when you see that thing right there, that indicates that this is a Norco exact slide, but I'll try to remember to verify that later. If I don't, leave me a comment. Now, I don't know, maybe I'll double check something like that. I could be wrong. 10 plus cubic foot, 12 volt DC compressor fridge. They are still maintaining ovens. A lot of manufacturers have peeled ovens out because it's the single most expensive appliance in the kitchen of the RV. And even though this is a budget sensitive camper, they have still given it a full equipment complement, which I think is nice. It does seem to be impossible for most manufacturers to put a side splash next to the stove. It seems like unless you spend money on a Northwood or a Lance, it's absolutely as rare as frog's hair to find a side splash. And speaking of side stuff, remember we saw the one slide side window, or how the other side of the super slide did not have a window is what I meant to say, but that one does. But I thought about that, and if you look at where that window's located, it's when you walk in the RV, where I'm standing right now is the entry door. So this is what you're going to see, and I think it sort of gives you the impression that you have slide side windows, even though you don't have dual. So that is personally something I'd like to see changed. I'm not a super fan of the knee knocker post style dinette legs, but I mean, again, with the budget, it is what it is. The good news is changing out a set of dinette legs is not the hardest thing. Like, I'm an idiot when it comes to tools, and I could do it. And we have everyone's favorite, he says with great sarcasm, the Peekaboo I Smell You bathroom door. We've got the generic dollar store 4-inch fart fan up here. Again, not difficult to change those out, but again, a couple extra bucks. You're going to hear me say that several times through the video. You could do this, you could do that, but it will cost you a few extra dollars. That's sort of one of the things with some of the more budget-focused, smarter class kind of campers. You're not spending all the money up front. So like if you don't need all the extras and widgets and whiz bangs on the outside of the RV, magnet cabinet holdbacks instead of the cheaper clips. That's an interesting touch. Sorry, squirrel. Anyway, you could do a couple things like maybe add a camera to the back of it and then add a vent fan up top here and still be ahead of the curve. Now, the RV has a 6.5 foot floor to ceiling height, so when I step up in the shower a little over 6 foot myself, you can see my head's definitely in the skylight. But they have a decent shower head in this. And speaking of, this is a bigger shower than most brands. This is an easily missed, unsung aspect of Tracer campers. They're very good about finding space to put bigger showers in here, including a corner seat in this thing. And that is something that most trailers anywhere near a class and or price point like this. Oops, sorry, I bumped the camera. I'm trying so hard to move slow so I don't make you motion sick, and I still bump the camera with my other hand as I'm closing that door. Anyway, this is a swinging door. Back here, it swings into the bunk room. So I don't know, that makes me a little bit nervous when you're closing the slide because you have to make sure everything's clear. But then again, the rear bunk room slide button is right here. So you literally have to stand right here to be able to close that. So you can know if it's clear before you hit the button, and you can look and be like, okay, the door's open. So I'm going to give them a little bit of a pass on that. Again, one of the very few options on these, Tracers do not allow you a lot of options, is that you can apply a second air conditioner to this one, just like you see right here. On the rear wall, if we look down below that, you see some TV hookups. So if you feel like turning this into, pardon me, entertainment room or giving the kids a rainy day entertainment source, you can. They also don't do traditional blinds and curtains and stuff in the bunk room. And at first glance, I think a lot of people see just a piece of fabric over the window and they think it reads cheap. And I totally respect why you think that. But I've been doing this for a while, and I will tell you, this is the smartest way to put sun blocking blinds in a bunk room that you will ever find. Because kids toss and turn and jump around, and if you have stuff sticking off the wall, they're gonna rip it off of there. Now these buttons snap on the wall, and just like I've done here, you can just like I've done here. There we go, got it. You can just Velcro those halfway up if you want, or totally snap them off, so you can have them open for airflow, because these do open for airflow. Good content right there. You can totally block the sun, or not. Totally whatever's up to you. Now, each of the bunks on this side has its own light, and I specify each because a lot of manufacturers who make a layout like this will not do the bottom bunk over here. So the fact that this has 4 individual beds is a kind of hard to find thing. What the RV lacks, though, is like a ladder for the kids to climb themselves to that upper bed. So right now you got to be like a pirate and heave-ho, throw the kids into the upper bunk. That's not everyone's favorite thing. Now down below here, this is a wider bed. I don't have the length and width dimensions available to me. They might be on the floor plan print. I'm not sure. I apologize. I didn't bring my laser measure with me because I'm I'm 2 time zones away from home. Apologies. But that's a bigger bed down below. And the fold-up bunk over here has a 250-pound capacity, as the sticker indicates. Now, I'm going to see if I can do this one-handed with the move bunk. Get out. Oh, I can't. Okay. So there's one of those positive latches right there on either side of the bunk to give it stability. And, if you need to, it's not truly a sofa, but if you're stuck inside on a rainy day and you need to really maximize the amount of interior living and or floor space, you can kind of sort of convert this over into a second living room. So keep that little detail in mind right there. Flipping the bunk back down, getting it out of the way, giving you a look at the fact that, you obviously, again, do have the full quad bunk, but again, you have that dedicated storage over here. And that's some really good bunk room storage. Even though it's like just one cabinet, it's one really good cabinet that you can load up nicely. Now, if I back up a little bit here, one of the other things while we're talking about storage, it's easy to miss because it's not directly in the kitchen. But this RV does have a dedicated pantry, but it's also kind of next to the bathroom and bunk room. So if you want to kind of multi-purpose this for different things, you sort of can. Giving you a look in there, it's not too bad. It's actually pretty decent size and space. And there is storage all the way below the U-dinette, but to get to the back bench, you will have to basically peel everything apart. So kind of keep that in mind. Again, that sofa, because I work alone, and I'm a one-man band, I did not have a good place to stage the camera up to show you how that works, so I do apologize for that. But that is a very easily operated hide-a-bed. So if you just absolutely have to sleep everybody in this thing, you really can. It has a lot of sleeping capacity. The thing that I caution you on is to sleep that many people, you're probably going to need to bring a lot of stuff. And this RV does potentially have a concerningly low cargo capacity. So once again, I hope you appreciate that I point out the good with the bad. Like the TV you saw right there, it can pivot around. So if you are really stuck inside, it's not that it's the best entertainment center. It's a get me through the day entertainment center, if that makes sense, if you think that's fair. Now, I don't know how this is reading on camera. I'm looking at the viewfinder on my camera, and it almost looks blue, but it's more of a gray. This is, oh my lord, a neutral upon neutral upon neutral decor. And it's interesting to me that a lot of manufacturers have suddenly been merging browns and grays. I am not an interior designer, but I was always told that browns and grays go together like fish and cheese in terms of cuisine. They're just not something that typically merges. So what do you think of the decor? I don't know. I leave that up to my wife. I will say this is the kind of looking RV where... hold on, I just noticed something. But this is the kind of look in an RV where you had a couple pillows and a blanket and it really sparks to life. That is nothing more than a flip-flop shop down there below the TV. I respectfully feel that's a missed opportunity. If they would have actually made that slot below the cabinets even a couple inches taller, that could have been a nice little shoe garage, but I guess it is what it is. Motion lighting by the door, as you may have seen. And something that was a very pleasant surprise. I don't remember Tracer having these. It might be because I've only been through a bunch of the LE models. I haven't gone through the full-on Big Brother Tracer like we're looking at today. But this is a 60 by 80 true queen bed. Now, the bed's eating up the entirety of the screen because I don't use tricky fisheye wide-angle camera lenses, and you can see how it comes right up next to those pocket doors. So you can't walk around the bed, but you can get to either side of the bed via the sliding doors, as it were. Now, I'm not a fan of open face storage like this. Does it have... Okay, it does at least have half inch little lip on that right there. Maybe a little more than that. 3/4 inch, 2/3. I don't know. We all know Americans who use anything but the metric system, as my Canadian friends love to constantly say. And I'm like, you come within 3 blue whales of the U.S. and say that to me, and then we'll see who's tough. Anyway, you get the idea. I'm not a fan of open face storage, but you could put some maybe little baskets or something up there. Opening up your side wardrobes there. One of the other things that did pleasantly surprise me was also the fact that you do have easy lift storage below the bed. I wasn't necessarily expecting to find gas struts to make that bed easy to lift. And again, that's a pleasant surprise. Now, this is a very rare thing. I was trying to... The runners. Oh, no. It's the traveling set screw is not pulled out of there. Okay, I can fix that in just a second, pull that out there. I was like, why is this door not opening? Anyway, but because these are sliding doors, there wouldn't be a place to put a TV. So they have this ultra rare like custom bracket here that if you want to put a TV in the bedroom, it puts it out in front of the pocket door so you can still open and close them. I thought that was really smart, really brilliant right there. And that is not something I've really seen from a lot of other brands. Getting my vest out of the way just so that you can see everything. One of the other little nitpicks that I have is I wish that shelf wasn't there, because that's the part that passes through. I wish that was a wastebasket space, personally. I think that would have been really, really handy. Knowing this floor plan from different builders the way that I do, road mode is about to get tight like a tiger. Hang on. Okay. So you know how a lot of manufacturers, when you have a big U-dinette, it sticks like a foot out of the slide? Well, they didn't do that here. So, hold on. As a result, it leaves a little sideways travel trailer 2-step out. Tell me you can open this door. Tell me you can open this door. You can. Oh my God. I just killed myself breathing. Okay, so this does something that almost no other builder of this floor plan I've ever seen does. It leaves you travel access to the bathroom with the living room super slide closed. Now, because when the bunk room slide closes, it forces the bunk room door shut, there is no access back there. But the fact is, if you need to make a quick travel and potty stop or make the kids a sandwich, you can do that here. And I said I would take another look at the slide. I was incorrect. That does appear to be the Norco AccuSlide system, not the exact slide system. With this being more of a floor flush slide, I should have known that, but it just didn't click initially. So there you go. All right, it's a little bit tight quarters because I am in a show display space right now, and we might hear some background music. I'm hoping YouTube doesn't knock me for a copyright tag on that. Nothing I can do about audio playing in another dealer's display. But I want to talk about towing on this RV, because when you see something under 7,000 pounds, a lot of people's half-tons alarms start going off. And I don't know if I'm necessarily going to recommend that on this RV, and I've got a couple specific reasons why. But first, I'm going to see if I can either crawl through this thing or crawl across the tongue and get you a look on the other side. Because one of the more surprising pieces of content, I think, on this RV is not that motion-sensitive light that just dropped off in our face, but this enclosed docking center, and it opens out. It's fully enclosed. It's not just open face into the front pass-through cavity, which I like. Now, back to the towing conversation before I get sidetracked by a squirrel. I don't know. Why don't I think a trailer under 7,000 pounds is half-ton towable? And the biggest reason, frankly, is the length. This thing is long and strong and down to get the camping on. And as a result, I think that it's going to push around half tons, especially if you're going to go across windy plain zones. There's so much horizontal surface area, it's going to shove you all over the place. Now, you have two different slide systems in place here. You folks have asked me to talk more about slides, so I'm filling that in. Your main super slide is a cable slide system like we're looking at right there. The rear bunk room slide is a Schwintek slide like you see on the side of this Winnebago sticking over here next to us. So very convenient that was located right there. I really do like the slam latches on this though. That's a nice touch. And by the way, there's a little thing that we put on the 7-way pigtail plug to make it blink like that. Now, those are really cool at your campsite, but your neighbors hate you if you leave those on at night if you're in a park, so keep that in mind. You are all prepped and ready for a full observation camera suite. And one of the other really interesting, again, surprising good features that you run into here is you see that little yellow thing? That is the relay for the tire pressure monitoring system. So again, there's some surprising features on here. By the way, so in case anyone's curious, like I have a merch store, and this vest that I have it's like a one of one. Like I don't have more of these. People keep asking. But let me ask you, would you be interested if I had that logo made into something like a patch that you could apply to stuff? Leave me a comment. Let me know. And if you say absolutely not, I don't want your stupid thumb on my clothing, I'm not offended. I'm genuinely asking, and I would like real feedback. Ooh, wow. They put a big honkin' awning on this thing. That's not terrible. You've also got, right next to the awning arm, the Drunken Uncle leash latch. In case Uncle Gary decides to tie one on, you can tie him onto the camper. Down below, we do have, this is standard, by the way, all push-button power stabilizers, which is a heavier component, and they're still achieving some pretty lightweight ratings on this. The underbelly, it is enclosed. Pardon me. It is also forced air heated. Now, that doesn't magically make this a Four Seasons camper. First of all, I despise that phrase. Secondly, it's an extended season rig. That's the best I can tell you. The entry door is anti-slam, so you can do the Miss Piggy, hi-ya! And you can slam that in Kermie's face, or try anyway. And then, of course, you've got the Barley Poppinator 9000 series. You know what else this is really, really handy for? If you've ever camped, and you go to campgrounds, you know what a lot of people have hanging off of their entry door handle? Something like a Walmart bag, a garbage bag to throw crap into. Those little hooks down there are so handy for just having a cheap Walmart bag sitting outside to gather up all your outdoor junk. Now, not only am I not a fan of outside speakers, I absolutely do not like where they place them on this RV. If it was any higher, they would have had to mount them literally on the roof. They're just not my favorite thing on a lot of RVs. Now, in terms of towing and going, it's a nice lightweight RV, which lends itself to towing. Again, it's long, which is a factor against. It is also common import tires and just a generic leaf spring suspension. You could do something like a MoRide or a Road Armor shackle upfit. You could replace the tires. That will cost you a little bit of money, but that's kind of the interesting thing on some of these more budget-focused, what I call smarter class campers. Because you're not paying all the money up front, it allows you to do a couple little personalizations like that. Like maybe you want to add the camera suite, but nothing else. You can add one or two little widgets and whiz bangs and still come in less than a lot of the fancy pants brands. Sure, you may not have all the ritzy glitzy stuff. You may not have all the widgets and whiz bangs, but you have the things that you really want and you really need. And if that jelly ain't your jam, that's cool. Don't buy this one. We have other things. It's okay. Outside here, little, if I can get my fingernail under it, little truck camper, 2-burner stovetop. One thing I will tell you, because I love to be fair, I love that can just be functional counter space. If you don't care about the cooker, don't use it. Nobody cares. But if you do, what I will tell you is that's a low output flame, and if you can blow the candles out on a birthday cake, the wind can blow out that thing right there. So keep that in mind. And I'm not going to call this a sink. I'm going to call it the dog bowl. It has because it doesn't have a real drain, which I prefer, but it does have outside water. So there you have it. That is a gas electric fast recharge auto ignition water heater. It's not a tankless on-demand water heater off the back of that thing, by the way. And one other thing I want to mention here. This does have a walkable roof, but shockingly, they haven't even put the prep bracket on to slap a telescopic removable ladder on here. If I could change one thing on this RV, it would be to at least add that little bracket on the back of it, because the fact that it's not there suggests to me that they have not even prepped it inside the wall to add that. So I don't know that I would recommend that, and I hope you appreciate the clarity. So thanks again for tuning in. As I always do, I'll leave you a link in the video description to check for pricing and availability on one of these. I'll also leave some links to other private bunk room kind of campers that I've had the opportunity to go through fairly recently, last couple years, so that you can kind of, like, if you're like, okay, I kind of like this, but I like maybe some solar, some more cargo capacity, you know, you could check out a few others before you know which one you're pulling the trigger on. And we're happy to do that for you. That's why we put this content out here. So again, if you like how we're very clear, very candid, showing you up and down, being very fair about this, hit that subscribe button, like our video. If nothing else, leave me a little note that says, thanks, nerd. And also, leave me, if you are willing, a little comment, your favorite thing about this, and then the one thing you would change if you could wave a magic wand and change it. Let me know. I always love seeing that. Until next time, take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.